A very good day to you. Welcome to Herman Manyora's channel. My name is Jadiel Kabiro. As I say, it's always a pleasure to have you joining us for these political conversations, as I usually say, conversations that help us build this country even as we are progressing towards the 2022 presidential elections. Today we're speaking about what is happening in the country. Gas prices up, cost of living up, everything is going up every single day. Now the question is, can we be able to deal with what is happening in this country? I'm joined by Herman Manyora. Sir, welcome and set.
Thank you, Jad.
Always a pleasure having you.
Same here.
We're joined by the one and only Kevin Nyambuka, all the way from Texas, United States of America. Karibu Kenya.
United States of America.
United States. Accent on that one, eh? Thank you once again for making time for us.
Thank you.
Last time we had a very good conversation on constitution, what's ailing this country, what we can be able to do when it comes to constitution crisis, a question, even as we're progressing towards the 2022 presidential elections. As I said, we're speaking about the economy, the cost of living right now. Let me start with you, though. Is it a global trend? Should we be complaining lower food prices? Is this something that is happening everywhere, and Kenyans should not just say that Uhuru ameharibu Kenya?
No, just because it's happening everywhere doesn't mean it has to happen here too. You know, no. It's very possible that in your house, you know, you're having food every day. Just because everybody else is sleeping hungry doesn't mean you should also be sleeping hungry. Okay. So yes, it's a global thing, but it shouldn't be this bad.
Prof, when you look at what is happening right now, where should we put the blame on? Because politically, one side is saying, deputy is saying the handshake brought what is happening in the country. When you look at Raila Odinga, is saying the deputy president together with the president, I should not be blamed for it. Should we be blaming people, or should we be looking for what we should do when it comes to...
I think there are two causes of the problems that we are facing. Increasing prices of almost everything, making life difficult. Like Kevin, I prefer to call him Ondiva from America, says, it's a global problem. I hear, and they might wish to confirm, prices of what they call gas, about naita tu mafuta, fuel or petrol, there they call it gas, is the highest it has ever been. I don't know for how long. Is that true?
That's true.
Yeah. So this is a global problem brought about by global factors. Like the price of oil, crude oil, is in a place it has not been for a while now. It's so high. Again, a number of factors leading to that, only to be made worse by the Ukrainian crisis, and so on and so forth. The international system, money system, and so on and so forth. So those are external forces. And then there's also the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, which has hit people across the world and affected their economies. But there are also, like he says, just because the world is suffering, we shouldn't be happy suffering. There are things that we can do something about. For example, we are suffering because of corruption. That we surely. At a time like this, I don't understand how people can still steal. When things are so bad that the economy can collapse, why would you even suspend? I'm not even asking them to stop stealing. Why can't they even suspend theft of public resources until we are out of the woods? That we can do something about. There are also policies. There are also bad taxation policies and practices. So yes, the problems you face are not unique to Kenya, but there are those that are Kenyan, and even the Kenyan problem, there are those over which we can do very little. But a vast majority of our local issues, there is plenty we can do to mitigate the suffering.
You've talked about corruption, you've talked about the tax burden. It's bad, the policies are bad. Kevin, you're looking at it in America. What is different there that we're not implementing here? Because we all expect taxes to be paid. We need the taxes to be paid for operations of the government. What is different there when it comes to taxes?
I'll give you a very simple example of Texas as a state. So Texas has, I think, even not the lowest, but among the lowest tax rate, and you know, people don't pay income tax in the state. Oh. The tax rate for the companies is very low in Texas. So what happened with that? Coca-Cola moved to has a branch in Texas now, in a city called Plano. Toyota moved to Texas. Oh. General Motors is in Texas. Oh. Amazon has opened up a branch in Texas.
Really?
All these big companies are opening branches in Texas because the cost of doing business is low.
Because of taxation.
The low taxation. Then California has these aggressive taxes and regulations. Everybody is moving from California to Texas.
I saw Elon Musk is moving to Texas.
Yes,
from
exactly.
California.
He's now, I think he's going to Austin.
Oh.
Yes, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
But he's going to Texas because of low taxation. Now, whenever I was in college 10 years ago, I was getting paid $7-8 an hour, working minimum wage job. Today, hiring a person in Texas, if you're not offering $15-18 an hour, you can't find anybody to hire.
You'll have to import labor to Texas.
Yes, people are coming from other states, but the companies in Texas itself can't find enough people because you have to pay them so high because these companies are competing for the labor.
And the business is so good.
Yes, it's a wonderful business.
Is this what is ailing Kenya, Prof? Can we be able to implement what is happening?
It's a no-brainer. As he puts it, taxation is critical. It's a no-brainer that our taxing rates are just, I don't understand. No country can prosper with the kind of taxation we have to a level of us. There are countries whose taxes are higher than ours. People keep saying Kenya is the highest. It's not the highest. There are countries with higher taxation rates, but they have reached a certain level of development where they also want people in those countries to correspondingly live very high standards of life, including those vulnerables, those who have no jobs, mothers when they give birth, they are given monies and so on. So they tax those who are already doing so well, they tax them highly. But with us, we need to take off. You cannot take off as an economy with this taxation. Also, it encourages teaching and cheating and avoidance. People will avoid tax, which is not an offense, but they will also cheat because the taxation is so high. Look at Kenya Power, for example. One of the reasons why people have illegal connections, because the power rates are so high. So the same with taxation. If your taxation rates are so high, people will cheat, and you'll also discourage businesses. So I agree with him. We need to look at our taxation and lower taxation a little down.
But can the government work without this taxation? Because the president wants to develop. He had his Big Four agenda. We're looking at government working in general. Can it be able to run, and can we see development in the country? Even when it comes to healthcare, he's trying to do a lot when it comes to healthcare. Can we be able to deal with all this and still reduce taxes?
I mean, the example I gave, like in Texas, we don't pay income tax to the state. But at the same time, Texas feeds other 10 states. Basically, Texas makes more money than it can consume. So Texas as a state gives money to other states to survive. So back to the question, how come we are not collecting income tax, but we are feeding other people that are collecting income tax? The answer is simple. Now, whenever you have lower taxes, it means that there's more disposable income. I'll give a very simple example. Let's say your salary a month is 10,000 shillings and the government is taxing you 5,000 shillings a month. Now, in your initial argument, the government is collecting more money, but from just you, from just one person. Now, if the government was to lower your taxes from 5,000 shillings to 1,000 shillings, the government is collecting less money from you. But the 4,000 shillings extra you have as your disposable income, now instead of you washing your clothes by yourself at home, you hire Mama Fua to come and wash the clothes for you. Then instead of you just taking 2 months before you go to kinyozi, you'll be going to kinyozi every week. And now instead of you cooking food in your house, you go to a kibanda, to a restaurant. Now what that does is you are creating more job opportunities to this mama mboga, to this kibanda person, to this hotel. This hotel is going to have to hire another waiter. This waiter is going to have to hire another maid to take care of her kid at home. This maid will be making money. Now she'll buy another smartphone. She'll buy a smartphone. She has to use data from Airtel or from Safaricom. Now in the long run, the money is circulating. More people are making more people are making money. Now all these people are going to be paying taxes to the same government. In the long run, the government is making more money. but from more people.
People are still employed.
Yes.
Will this work in Kenya, Prof? Because we say Kenyans hatupendi kulipa tax. We try to avoid every means of paying tax. It's not like in other countries where people are looking for the government to pay taxes.
Yeah, in places like Netherlands, if somebody gets money, you give them a small job and they made, say, 5,000 euros, they will quickly ask government, I've made 5,000 euros. How much do I owe you? What do I pay? And you'll be told no. Until you get to 8,000, you go and enjoy your money. You see, it's a simple logic. I am poorly paid as a teacher. But believe me, out of every 100 shillings I'm paid, government takes 30 shillings. That is crazy. 30 shillings. So if you get 100,000 shillings, government is taking 30,000. You can see. If I had the option, perhaps I would not have paid. Perhaps I will dodge. But they get it at source, at my salary. That explains why most of the taxes is paid by people who have no option of avoiding or evading or cheating generally. If we make it something reasonable, then what you are saying will happen. People will go and ask government, I've made so much money, how much do you want me to pay you? But when it is terribly high, you'll actually run away and hide. Okay,
the second thing is corruption. The president said, I can't be able to deal with it right now. We're losing 2 billion per day. He said that on radio once. Can we be able to deal with corruption? Is corruption that bad in Kenya compared to where you reside? Yeah,
I mean, if I might add to Professor's point about the tax rate. For example, the Kenyan corporate tax rate is 30%. So for every 100 shillings that Safaricom makes, 30 shillings go to the government. Now, if we were now Safaricom makes 70 billion shillings in a year is in profit. 30% of it goes to the government in taxes. If you are to reduce how much they pay in taxes, this company will be able to expand. If they expand, they hire more people. If they hire more people, as Professor says, he has no option other than to pay the income tax from the government cuts it at source. The government will be able to cut at source, those people that Safaricom is hiring, extra people. And to your second question about corruption. Now, most roads, especially in Texas, is what I know more. I don't know much about other states, but in Texas, they're nowadays doing what they call a PPP, private-public partnership. So they'll build a highway. The government pays $0 to build the highway. Yes, so I, as an investor, let's say I'm a multi-billionaire, I'll just go to the government. I'll tell them, okay, you want to build this highway from Kisii to Nairobi. Instead of you paying 400 billion to build this highway, let me put the money, or 100% of the capital myself. Now, after build that road, I'll put a tollway. They call them tollways or toll road. So for every car that is passing through that road, I am responsible for collecting money from the person that is using that road. That way, I'm not punishing a guy from Garissa that has never used this road, because our current system is that the SGR, I am paying the taxes to pay the loan for SGR, and I've never even seen SGR because I'm a Kenyan. But now, you make this highway. I live in my home is in Kisii. I come to Nairobi. That's the only road that I use every time. Why should I be paying the taxes for building another road in Namanga that I've never even seen? So the same way, this toll road, as an investor, I say, let me say, for your easy numbers, I put 1 million shillings to build this road. I do my research. I say this road has 1,000 cars that go through this road every single day. So I do my math. I say if I collect 10 shillings from every car, I'll be making 100,000. That's 10,000 shillings a day. Now, for the next 10 years,
I'll recover my money.
I recover my money, and the road goes back.
And I give you the road as the government.
But the same is happening. You're asking the expressway from that expressway.
Yes.
Under PPP, yes. That government has not put in a cent.
Yeah.
In the cost of the expressway.
People will be paying.
This hanging road that is making Nairobi look like Paris and London and the rest of Tokyo and the rest.
The good thing with that PPP is that we have limited corruption because of the current system.
Yes.
Before you give me a contract to build that road, I'll have to pay this guy from the government, the members of parliament and all those people. I give them a kickback. This kickback doesn't come from my pocket. I actually have to inflate the cost of building this road. Okay. The road was supposed to cost 1 million shillings, and inflated to 2 million shillings. A million shillings.
It's a public venture.
Yes.
Of course, there are still a few issues. We say somebody is paying for the expressway, but as Kenyans, we must find the ukora kidogo. Or pipes, compensation for pipes, land, acquisition of land, ukora. So that are things you shall deal with. So that as much as we are happy that somebody is constructing at their own cost, we will have to avoid ukora, which is still residual. The relics, because he pays for the construction, but the Kenyan government ensures is the one compensating people. And in the compensation for land, and those works like pipelines and electricity, it is still theirs. Okay. And you find it's 20 billion. So as we refine it, we will need to borrow from America, where the investor calculates including all those things, and he agrees, yes, even with all those costs, I can still make my money in 25 years, and it comes. Okay,
I'm being told the time is running out. I will be having this conversation. Engineer Kevin, please. Come back. Always tell your friends to come and share their thoughts about what is happening abroad and how we can be able to implement that in the country. Thank you so much.
Just a minute. I was also thinking, when he's back in America, he can get together with other Americans, record videos on issues they think can help this country, that can, people will look and say, this happens in America, it can happen in Kenya, so that we improve our country. Do those videos and send them to us, and we will share with Kenyans.
The WhatsApp number is down below. Share it at hermanmanyora22@gmail.com. Share your emails at nairobireviewlimited@gmail.com. Until we do have these conversations again, have yourself a lovely rest of your day.